Welcome back. This time I want to talk about inequalities and how we graph inequalities. Sometimes it's tough to tell by looking at a graph of an inequality whether or not it means less than or greater than, or less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to, so I'll explain that as well. So let's take a look at our first example up here to the left. Y is less than or equal to x minus 2. Well, the first thing we do is we draw the line y equals x minus 2. And because we know that it's less than or equal to, we will draw the line with a solid line. Okay, and I'll talk about that more in a minute as to why we might not use a solid line. So we're going to create the graph y equals x minus 2. Well, we saw the rise over run is one way to do it. So we'll just find our y-intercept, which is negative 2. We know that's a point. And we know we rise 1 for every run that we run 1. So it's rise over run is 1 over 1. So we go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. And then you can see this pattern is continued elsewhere. So let's fill in our line. But now we have an inequality. An inequality means that any value less than any y less than or equal to x minus 2 is in our shaded region is what this inequality is all about. So what we want to do is say, do we shade up high? Do we shade up here? Or do we shade down here to determine the inequality? And I know this is a point of contention for some folks. They struggle with this. But let me explain how I figure it out. If this is less than or equal to, we're looking at all of the y values, Where are the y values always going to be, if we go up the y values, where are the y values going to be less than our expression? Well, less than on y values means where the y values are going down, right? So that means we got to shade this area, because all the y values below this point are the ones that we want to accommodate as part of our expression. Okay, now let's take a look at this next one down here. Y is greater than negative 2x plus 1. Okay, first thing we'll do is we'll draw our graph. We'll get the points and draw our graph. We'll use rise over run again, because that's a very convenient technique. We know that our y-intercept is at 1. Y-intercept is at 1 because it's our b value out here, plus 1. And then we know our slope is negative 2 over 1. So we're going to rise negative 2 for every 1 that we go over. So we go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1. And this pattern recreates all the way up the graph and on forever. Now, what kind of... I'm going to get rid of those interim lines there so we don't have to see those. I'll get rid of these little lines. What kind of line do we draw here? Well, it's important to note that we need to draw a dotted line because we only have a greater than. We don't have a greater than or equal to. So the values on the line don't count. They're not part of our solution. So that's my dotted line. But now we need to figure out what part of the region do we shade. Which region? Do we shade to the right and up a little bit or to the left and down? Well, your instincts are probably correct that if you say up, that's always what it is, because we're looking at y values that are greater than. Y values that are greater than. Well, the y values that get bigger and bigger are the ones that go up. So we're going to shade up where the y values get bigger or bigger. And that is the solution to our inequality. Y is greater than negative 2x plus 1. I hope this helped with graphing